Hi guys, hope you're keeping safe and sane during lockdown 3. I'm George, I'm the bar manager here at Turton Wines in the Slaughtered House. We've got some fantastic wines for you to try tonight. So we've got a Hungarian white, we've got a Czech Republic red, and then we've got a white and a red, so brother and sister, from Catalonia as well for you. Just going to go through how to taste wine. You can obviously have your own methods. This is just what we do here at the Slaughtered House in Turton Wine. So you want to pour yourself a glass, obviously. You want to have a look at it, so like all the rim variation, colour, see if there's any difference between like the centre of the wine and the edge. Want to give it a little swirl, just get the aromas going through, give it a sniff. What can you smell? Any like fruits that come through, any like vanilla from the oak, anything that comes through at all. Then give it a good swirl, get the wine like agitated, get all the oxygen into the wine. That really brings out all of the flavours, so you can taste a lot more that's going on. Then you want to sniff again, because you've swirled it. You might pick up some new flavours that weren't there originally, just because the oxygen in the wine let the wine like properly breathe. And then just give it a good sip. So we're going to start off with the Hungarian white, just because it's a bit fresher, a bit more leaner than the Catalonian one. So this is the Galtibor. So this is from the Ega region, so it's a bit further north, near Tokaj. It's a wonderful little growing area. It grows all different varieties, really indigenous ones to worldwide ones. It's fantastic. It's got its own like little microclimate. It kind of focuses on either the indigenous varieties or more towards the French side. The climate's just a bit better for the French varieties, so that's what they grow there. So the blend is of 9 different grape varieties, a mixture of indigenous and, as I said, French varieties. You've got it on your sheet. I'm not going to try and pronounce any of the indigenous varieties because I'll butcher them and they won't make sense, but you've got them on your sheet for you. So what you're going to get through the nose is a lot of like fresh flowers, really floral, but you've also got a lot of stone fruits as well, so like peach, mango in there as well. And then on the palate, it becomes almost like very tropical, very banana-y. Jasmine. It's a really complex, unique kind of wine that you're going to get. So you'll pick up like from the Sauvignon to all the indigenous varieties. It really comes together to create like this own little thing. Because of the acidity, it creates this almost like freshness, which really cuts through all the tropical flavours that you tend to associate with like a heavier body style. But it's fantastic. It's a white wine for almost like really cold winter days. Food-wise, I'd pair it with almost like seafood, more like leaner white fish, like cod, haddock, pasta as well, but not too rich, not too creamy, because it will just offset the balance a little bit. But yeah, like lean pasta dishes with white fish work really well for it. Next, we've got the Zicciarello from Penedès, so Catalonia, and it's 100% the Xarel·lo grape, something that's more in keeping with like the local indigenous varieties. You don't really tend to see this very much, especially not in a single variety. It's more put into blends when it comes over here, so a bit more of a unique wine. These guys, so you've got the white and the red. I'll go in a bit more detail with the white and about them now, and then I'll talk about a bit more of the red later for you. They're very unique brothers. They're completely organic and biodynamic wines. They really only pick the grapes at certain times in the day or even the night if they think it's perfect for picking the grapes. They're a bit wacky in terms of like their wine style and how they treat the wine. Each little mark that you can see, all the little brands, are actually Spanish slang, and there's a couple of swear words. I'm not going to tell you which ones they are. You're going to have to find those out for yourselves. For the white and the red, they're completely different. So it's just a little cool, unique like standpoint for them. Compared to the first one, it's almost very different, like comparing and contrasting, because you'd think the Galtibor you'd have second because it's more like tropical fruits, more stone fruits, but because of the freshness and the acidity, it makes it really crisp. However, with the Xarel·lo, you're getting like flavours that you associate with lighter wines, so like apple, pear, jasmine. Bit of like herbiness to it as well, but they've done it in such a way that it's really smooth and really rich, so that's why we're doing this one second. It just brings it all together really nicely, very little acidity to it, almost like a Viognier in that respect. When it comes to food, I'd either do it with like Spanish tapas, like hard cheeses, seafood as well, so it's very similar with the Galtibor, but you're wanting a bit more herbaceous food, a bit more like thyme, rosemary, oregano, just to bring a bit more body to the dish, and it really complements the wine. Moving on to the first red, we've got the Krasner Horror Ruby, so the Czech wine. This wine is completely natural, biodynamic as well, so don't be scared if a tiny bit of sediment comes out. It's completely fine, it's not a faulty bottle, it's just that it's not filtered and it's not fined. It will come out almost like translucent, really, really light colour, and that's because they've got no real like treatment to it, completely unfiltered, completely unfined. They just put it in a vat, ferment it, let it do its thing. In respect of varieties, it's very similar to the Gal Tibor. So you've got indigenous varieties. We've also got a lot of French varieties in there as well. The vineyard is really close to Slovakia, so it's north on the foothills, and it's got its own like unique standpoint. It's had about 8 months in oak, but it's like really old oaks, and you're not going to get like this massive like onslaught of like vanilla and spices. It's almost like just like a complement to it. In terms of flavour, you've almost got like deep like ruby kind of flavours coming on, like cherries, plums, but it's like really soft, really light flavours coming through. And then you've almost got like a Pinot Noir like mushroomy back note to it, almost like forest floor. That's got something to do with the oak as well, just brings a bit more robustness to it, just so it's just not light and like one-toned. In terms of food, you can be really diverse with this. You can always have it like pizzas, pasta, really light pastas, light red meats like duck, also like hard cheese as well. Manchego would do really well with this. And lastly, we've got the El Cabaret, so from Penendos as well. So they're from pretty much exactly the same place. So I told you a bit about them with the white. Just going to talk about how the red's made. So the red is 100% Cabernet Sauvignon. They only pick the grapes at night. They just think that that's the opportune moment to pick them. It's more ripe, more flavour. So they pick the grapes and put them in a stainless steel tank. No added sulfides, completely organic and biodynamic still. Let it ferment, and then they put it in 300 litre French casks. So very old casks. It's only got a bit of like French oak flavours, vanilla, a bit of spiciness to it as well. And that just brings out like the fruits essentially, the all ripe, fresh fruits. So you've got a lot of like blackberries as well, but then all the raspberries, the leafiness come through, what you'd expect from a Cabernet Sauvignon. So it's like really silky, really smooth, not a lot of tannins, they're there, but they're a lot more harmonious than like a Bordeaux, for example. It's a really friendly Cab Sauv, so you're not going to have like lots of robustness to it. Food pairing wise, any kind of like red meat, roast beef, steak goes really, really well.